Welcome everybody to another episode of On Location with Paradigm. I'm your host, Chris Tello, and I'm here with our guest, Nubia. So, Nubia, why don't you go ahead and tell everyone, your first, your last name, and who you are and what it is you do?
My name is Nubia Moncada. I am a real estate agent in Texas, specifically in the Dallas Fort Worth area. I work as a team with my husband under Moncada Realty Group, and we have been in business together about. I think he's going on his 8th year, and I'm on my 7th year already. Yeah.
Okay, so seventh year real estate. And okay, so obviously we're here in the office.
Mm.
We're here at Only One Realty Group. And you recently just joined here, right?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. I
Mhm.
just made the switch, and I am the kind of person that wants to kind of stay in the same place until I feel like maybe I maybe I've grown outgrown it, but I don't want to be the person that jumps around, shifts because I we see a lot of realtors that are jumping from one side to another, and then you just see more than posts of that they've actually closed. I see more posts that they've switched over multiple times.
Right. Yes. Yeah. You see it very often, especially in this day and age. It's crazy. But that's good that you found it here and you want to stay here and you like it. I mean, they're great. I met the brokers and they're amazing.
Yeah, they
Um,
are.
but what really got you into real estate? What made you say, I want to do real estate? This is what I want to do.
So I'll be honest, I did not have real estate in my head growing up. My dad, he's an entrepreneur. I was gonna go into the business with him. He's a welder,
Mm.
and run the family business, but I decided that that wasn't the case. And then I got accepted. I got my associates, and then I also got accepted to UTD. I was going to roll to classes for UTD, and then I decided, you know what? I don't think I have enough of a passion for any specific career. Started off with, wanting to do photography, then maybe like a dentist, and there's so many avenues that I could have taken, but then I decided I don't want to spend money on college when I'm unsure of my career path. So I decided that um well, actually, a friend suggested to me, she's like, "Well, my sister's a realtor, maybe you should try that." And I was like, "Okay, let me try that." I may like and enjoy opening doors for people and be like, "Sign here, let's go," you know? That's not even how real estate is at all, but that was my first introduction to becoming a real estate agent, and then also my husband, he actually had that in his sights for a long time prior to getting licensed,
Okay.
unlike me.
I
So
got that. So you mentioned, you have a husband. Did were you with your husband before you got into real estate?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So we've been together since we were 21.
Okay.
So we're 34 now. So we've
Mhm.
been together about 13 years now.
Nice.
So
Okay.
I really love the dynamic that we have. And we found each other young and we've grown together. It's not always, butterflies, but it works, we grow together, we communicate effectively. I think for us specifically, we don't have kids, so we can communicate a little bit more without, any for me, I feel like since we're not ready for kids, like it's helped our relationship. But I think we weren't ready. We are ready now.
Gotcha. Okay. So, so you and your husband were together before the real estate, and it worked out that he wanted to get into real estate as well. So you wanted to get into real estate, and he wanted to get into real estate, and now you both are working together in real estate, like you
Mhm.
said. And how has that dynamic been with you? Working together, and you are a team. You and your husband are a team. And how has that really helped you? With your business as well, both yours and his.
Okay. Well, it's funny you mentioned that because to be honest, since I didn't grow up here, my sphere of influence is really his sphere of
Mm.
influence, right? I moved here when I was really young and right out of high school. So everybody that I know is basically through my husband and maybe a handful of people from my work prior to real estate, which was my husband. He also bartends part time, um, and I used to also do that. I work in the restaurant industry, bartend, and so that has helped us. And I think that just taking one step at a time and prior to that, like, we were all, like when we both got licensed, we were new. We didn't know what we were doing, which
Mm.
was left, which was right. I wanted to go left, he wanted to go right, and we had to come together and realize that it's neither or. It's one straight line together, and, God has helped us, find that path, so.
What would you say is something that really helped you, or what is something so that you would mention to someone that has a partner with them as well, and they're both wanting to work together, whether it's real estate or any other industry, but real estate mainly is focused at. But what would you say is something that really helped you both, get to where you are and what you're doing now? What really helps it when it's husband and wife getting in the same business?
I think, never arguing in front of a client. That is something that we did in the past, we learned from that. And just in general, learning from everything, the good and the bad as a couple and as business partners, because there's also time that you have to set apart aside from work, because you can be in the car all day long together and you're showing together, or maybe you're showing separate. But if you're not spending time together as a couple and going on dates, then things are going to be very, very different. You're going to lose each other in that sense of relationship, and you're just going to become business partners, you know?
Mhm.
So,
Okay. Well, that's good to know. It's always good to have some advice, for anyone that is in the same situation as you and you and your husband. So that's good. That's always
yeah.
great advice.
Mm.
So so great. So you're both in real estate. So what for you, what do you think has been, I guess, that spark that's really helped you grow in your business as being, your own boss, as we're all entrepreneurs, even you are with the brokerage, but you're your own boss, right?
Right.
You gotta, really grow your business. What has been the thing that you feel has really helped you grow and to continue growing?
I think for me, it has been more like clients that I've had in the past, to connect with them and stay connected with them, because I think at the beginning I wasn't really doing that. And I was just looking for the next family that I can help, the next family, without going back to, hey, these are the people that already supported my business and were going to allow me to grow and push my business for me, and already speak from experience of what it was like to work with me. And then also, social media and being consistent. And if you don't have anything going on, just still find something to do, get involved, because something that I've learned in this business is you do have to get involved, and you'll grow in a lot of areas that you didn't think you were ever going to grow. Like, for example, like, prior to this, I was doing social media um as a manager for my previous broker, and now a lot of that has moved over to me, whereas prior, it was just that, right? And I had no idea where that was really going to lead me. And I've learned so much in so many aspects, more than just social media, graphic design, um, just like a lot of things. I mean, I could go down the list of everything that I've learned from bits and pieces of everything I've done throughout my entire life. So,
So okay, so and you've mentioned this to me, and we really haven't really talked about this yet. But I know you told me that you do marketing as well,
mhm.
on the side as well. And then you said your husband, does he continue to do that bartending? Is that his secondary?
Yeah, he does it part-time. The goal is to completely remove him from that. But you know what? It has allowed us to make a lot of great connections with people, and we really do enjoy the connections that we make. And even if they're not necessarily our clients, we the connections are genuine. So.
So do you feel like you're both part time? Do you feel like you both want to get into real estate full time? To where that's the only thing you focus on, and that's like, so for me, for example, we're doing this podcast. I consider this to be as a side gig to my real estate business that I do. So I'm not saying quitting like your jobs, but doing real estate full time, but having that as like, a side part time where real estate is your full time. Is that something where you want to be in the future, or is that where you are now, you feel like?
So for me, that is where I am right now. And then Carlos is definitely transitioning to have that full time for him.
Hmm.
So now he has the privilege that he doesn't have to work weekends. He's pretty well established where he's at. And so, as if you know anything about restaurant business, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, those are the busiest
Right.
days. So even though Thursday's not a weekend, but you
No.
know what I mean.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, I mean, definitely something that we want to do full time. Do I wanna do real estate forever? Not necessarily. It's a lot of driving, it's a lot of work, and you're on your phone all the time, right? But, I I really do want to do something that is going to continue to, have residual income and help my business grow. To be honest, I would like to grow my team. Right now, it's just Carlos and I, but, I have a couple of prospects, people trying to that are trying to join my team, but I don't think that I'm quite there yet, but that is my goal for next year.
Okay, that's a good goal to have because I've talked to a few people that are either a part of a team or they have a team on themselves and they're part of their leadership in that team role. So and they've told me whenever you have a team, it helps you because they have people in different areas. So I had a realtor where she has a team. There's people in Fort Worth, they're in Frisco, there's South Dallas,
Yeah.
all over, and sometimes you can't make the time to go to all those places. So when you have a team member that helps you go that is in that area, you can say, "Hey, I have someone that's in this area. Can you help me out?" And then, like you said, it's a lot of driving, so that
Mhm.
takes away from all that driving. So you less miles, a little bit,
Yeah,
less miles.
yeah.
It takes the load off a little bit. So that's good that you want to get in the team, and that's awesome. You want to do that next year. Right now, we're already getting close to the end of the year. It's 2025. Next year's 2026. So that's one of your goals. This is usually a question I ask in the end, but we're gonna start it now since we're talking about goals. What would you say is your goal for you besides the team, um, in the next 1 to 5 years? What do you think is a goal for you in real estate or your businesses in general?
For business in general, I would like to grow my marketing business a little bit more. Not sure. I think I mentioned it a little bit to you, right? But it's kind of catered to agents that are kind of more on the busy side or unsure about the kind of marketing material they need. Throughout the years, I had to create a lot of marketing material, and there's no one specific kind of market material that is going to be only to you because it's the real estate items that are there for people to learn the educational stuff. It's all basically the same. You can just reword it a couple different times. So I want to educate other realtors to run their brand, to grow. Also, I want to put my money where my mouth is because I know what needs to get done, and I want to execute my social media stuff a little bit better. I have been posting a lot more. We've been working together, so I have been able to reuse some of the content that you created for me, and it's been a great investment for my business. So, well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And so that is something I want to focus on. Of course, the growing the team, and no, that's basically it as business goes. I don't wanna have too many businesses 'cause I wanna be able to focus on my clients.
Yes. So you're growing on the social media aspect and everything. How important do you think it is to have social media in the real estate business? Do you think it's extremely important? Do you see it growing, and being more important than what it is now, or for what you would say? Do you think it's
Oh, it's definitely gonna be it's already huge,
Mm,
I think as real estate agents and business owners, your real estate any kind of business that you have on social media, everybody has social media. So that's like your public resume, right? That's the way I see it. It's not like for realtors, it's not just going to like ZillowRealtor.com and saying that you have reviews. People want to see that you're also doing business. People need to get better at posting, hey, I did work with this client, or hey, this was my experience working with that agent. I think that is it, they say pictures worth a thousand words, basically that with in form of video.
mhm.
So that is the best way you can have a review, and then also that you're actually active. You know, you're not just not posting that thing because if you have 2 of the same, let's say you have twin realtors, right? You have twin realtors, they both are producing, but you're not gonna know one is producing or not producing, if you don't know any of them personally,
Mhm.
right? You're gonna look them up, probably their website's probably gonna look the same, but their real estate, portfolio through social media could look very differently.
Good. Yeah, that's good. That's good to say, because yeah, social media is gonna become very important and it already is, like you said, but it's gonna get it's gonna be bigger. So, what is something, so we know your story, what it was like, before real estate, what got you into real estate, and what you're doing now. What is something that you haven't mentioned in this story podcast that you want people to know? What is a fun fact about you?
Fun fact.
That they think, no one knows about, no one knows this about me. Or I want people to know.
I would say that I am a very this could come across differently, like the way people perceive me on
For sure.
social media, right? But um we all have our issues, right? And we all want to be perceived like we're perfect, right? But I want to share that nobody's perfect. Obviously everybody should know no one's perfect. So it's not something that I want people to know that I'm not perfect, right? But it's more just I want to always be myself. For me, I'm very outspoken. I will say the first thing that comes to my head, and that have been working on that because it can get me in trouble because it's not always the nicest things that I have to say. But I am a very nice person, and one thing I do want to actually share is that I love collaborating with businesses. So if you're a small business, definitely reach out to me. Will do my best to promote you. And I think every business is somehow in some way related to real estate. So there's always businesses that can we can intertwine with real estate, and not necessarily for me to have a growth with you, but for me to help you grow. And, because I am trying to also push, small businesses. I'm not sure if you've seen a little bit on my social media where I have a couple businesses that I'll try to push because I know what it is to be a small business owner and help them, and I want to help them grow. And so business, I guess you could say development is a little bit of, I guess, of a fun fact that it's a passion that I have.
Yeah.
So even if I were to never do real estate again, I would like to connect with other businesses and help them grow and give them ideas. I love giving people ideas. I've given you a couple of, of ideas. Everybody could take it with a grain of salt, and if they don't want to do it, that's okay. But I, as long as you're persistent, you can grow your business. And I think that it's important for people to not close themselves out because, I'll give you an example. I did an open house recently this past weekend, and this person came in, and right away I could tell he was an investor.
Mm.
He didn't have to say anything, just the way he was looking, so, like, kinda, like, judging, but interested, but uninterested, and so I was thinking, because there was somebody else in there, and when he got this guy left, I was talking to somebody else, uh "Is he an investor?" Because those 2 people that were in there were talking, and then he's like, "Yeah, he's an investor. He has a house down the street, blah, blah, blah." And then I was like, "Look," I was like, He missed out on an opportunity because I know of other investors that may be wanting to pick up that property that he is selling." So he closed himself off, and I think that, there's always opportunity when you meet people to grow your business in a lot of different ways. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think, it's good to really talk and network and get, work with different people too, because you never know who has the right opportunities for you. And especially, going back to, like you said, collaborating with, other businesses and everything, and or even just other realtors too.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people like to compete in this business, but really what's really helpful is collaborating.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of the guests have said this, is collaborating with people is it's really what is best.
Absolutely.
And just not really competing and sticking to yourself. Just when you collaborate, you grow not only your circle but their circle as well. So it kind of goes hand in hand,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Um, okay. I'm trying to think of another thing to say. This is kind of like not on the show, but I'm saying now.
Yeah,
But
okay. Well, I wanna actually add something then.
sure, yes.
Um, so for collaborating, I totally agree with that. It's important to collaborate. I have, collaborated with other realtors, not necessarily that wanted to join my team, but, I have a couple of friends that we show for each other, right? We cover each other when we're out of town, or if we're busy doing another showing, or, going to inspections because we love going to our actual inspections. So those are things that I highly recommend everybody to do. Always collab. You never know what can come out of it. One thing I noticed is that after collabing with so many real estate agents, sometimes real estate agents they move and then you get their business. Or sometimes um they get out of the business for whatever the reason is, and then you also get their business, or you get business from them directly as they may want to sell or buy or whatever the case is.
Mhm.
And so you never know what can come out of it. So, and then always just help each other, and you can grow in so many different ways that you may not even imagine with collaborating with others. And you can say, you know what, excuse me, you can say, you know what, we would like we're competitors. I'm gonna stay over here, you stay over there. But the reality is that that's not how you should see each other. You should see each other as because you are going to collaborate. You don't want to, I don't want to make you upset because maybe you might have a house that my client might be interested in,
Mhm.
or maybe I might have a house that your client might be interested in. And then even though we should all put our client's interests above our own, sometimes realtors don't do that. And I could see that sometimes realtors don't do that. And so they would probably push somebody else's offer over yours, especially if it's the exact same offer with only like one or two things different, you know? So I have had some bad experiences.
No, that's okay. I mean, yeah, I think we all have some bad experiences and good experiences, right? So,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to that. So, okay, we'll go back to the competing. So, here's something I'm sure that that you are competitive in, and maybe this is about with your husband. Who do you feel like is best on camera? Who tries to be the best on camera? Who tries to
Oh.
show, what's going on with that?
Well, I could say we're not really like competitive like that, but I would say he does really good. I'm really tough on him. I feel like I'm also tough on myself, but when I go back and I hear myself in the background and the on the bloopers, I'm like, "Do it again. Be more this, be more that." And then he's like, "I am doing it." He doesn't really care to be in front of the camera, but he does, afterwards, when he sees it, he's like, "I do enjoy it." So I wouldn't say that we're that competitive, but I do try to push him to be more this or more that
Mm.
versus him. He's just like, "Are you done? Like, this is good, right?"
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, you both are on camera. I think you posted the video, you shared it with me, so
Mhm.
you're both collaborating together, and
Yeah.
so that's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Okay, so do you have anything else you'd like to share?
Yeah, actually, I was just thinking about, you said fun fact about me. I just
Yes.
guess I didn't really say one, but,
Okay.
uh,
It's okay.
I'm
No.
thinking, I'm really silly and I like, um, to be weird, I guess
Okay.
you could say.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not sure if you saw my post where I dressed up as the Grinch.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I dressed up as the Grinch. I had a great time. I actually bought that costume before Halloween last
Oh,
year,
okay.
and then I saved it for to wear for Christmas, and I was terrorizing my nieces and nephews with it, and I thought it was a lot of fun, and so I was just being quirky with it, and I I, I enjoy doing fun, spontaneous things that don't necessarily have to do anything with work, because I do enjoy having my friends and my family time,
Mhm.
and that's very precious to me.
All right, that's good. That's good to know. Yeah, it's always good to show your personality and be a little, lighthearted on things, video and stuff. You don't always have to be serious. Be,
Mhm.
funny at least occasionally. So I think that's good. And so I guess what would be so you've been doing this for 7 years, but what is some advice that you would give to someone that that wants to get into real estate and they want to start their business, and whether they're married or they're not, what would you give? What is some advice that would be very helpful to anyone wanting
Yeah.
to get into this business?
Okay, so my advice would be, nothing's going to be easy. Especially if you're coming from your 9 to 5 or clock in, clock out job. There is no clock in and there is no clock out. You're on the clock all the time. And so my advice is, if you really want to make it happen, just go and do it. And you can't sit around at home and just be like, I wonder who's gonna call me. Hopefully, I posted 3 things, hopefully they'll call me and they say they want to buy or that they want to sell, but that's not necessarily how things happens. Some people get lucky and they may have a good sphere of influence that calls them right away. Like I said, I didn't grow up here, so that wasn't necessarily the case for me. Um, and so we had to go out and just get the business, and it was very difficult at first, but now that we've been more established throughout the years, It has helped us to still go out and do something. Where I'm the kind of person that if I'm not doing nothing, I will stay doing nothing. All right. So, but once I'm doing something, I'm doing something. So I've been trying to go to the gym early in the morning so that when I'm there, I start my day. Right. So just don't stay at home, because you can get into a rut. And I get like that, and just don't do it. Go out. Go to the field. Go do videos, take pictures, post, and then just practice. I would also encourage other agents to, when you're looking at properties, the way that I like to work is I like to teach my clients about the condition of the property and how it currently is versus how it should be, and how much maybe that could cost them to get fixed should the seller not agree. So I would say find things that you could educate your clients in. So
It's good. You heard it here first. So educational, right? You're teaching people. You're on the go all the time. It's 24/7, right? So that's some good advice. You can't just stop doing it. You got to keep on doing it. It's all day, every day, and you want to be honest with people. You want to educate. So that's great advice to anyone that wants to get started. So I
right.
love that. So that is going to be our show for today, and I
Yes.
really
Yeah.
appreciate you joining us. And obviously we'll have to
Thank
do
you for
something
having me.
again, for sure.
Yeah.
So we're on to the next one.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.